Hello there. Thank you for tuning in for this video. Today we're going to talk about a couple of things. One is going to be talk about security laws. Pretty much this deal with uh, a couple of federal laws that govern the use of security guards. And we're going to talk about five of the top responsibilities of a security guard. We're going to talk a little bit about what security guards can and can't do. We're also going to conclude with the two types of arrests that's pretty much deal with what a security guard can and can't do for his proceeding with an arrest. So here we go. Um, there's really no federal laws that governs what you got to do dealing with security. Your service position, as it is stated here, your service in this position is regulated by the state in which you live. And that's pretty much true. When you're dealing with security, the state or the state board or your state licensing agent is pretty much the people that's going to tell you what you can and can't do dealing as a security personnel, or better yet, shall I say, any person trying to get or company security company license. The state is going to regulate what that company can and can't do. Most likely, they're going to set up uh, what they have is a company board or a state licensing board that's going to be able to give that company a license to be able to operate in that state. They're going to mandate your training. They're going to mandate how many hours of training you can have, what type of equipment the security personnel can have, and what they license you to carry on your duty belt. It is up to that company to train you or to get you trained through a certified instructor to be able to utilize that type of equipment. There's a lot of companies that do their own in-house training, and there are companies who use external instructors to do their training. That also include anything from non-lethal force to deadly force. Anything that licensing agent or that board do not authorize, uh, it would be at the company liability or anything else that they allow you to be able to carry. Let me be clear in saying this. Security officers are not police officers. Security officers are pretty much private civilians which have the authority to be able to operate based on what I call the landlord rule of engagement. They can only deal with what the landlord allows them to be able to do on their land or their company. Landlord or property owners do have a certain right to enforce laws or activity on their property. This is where the security company come in and they get a contract with the landlord, with the tenants, or the property owner, better yet stated, the property owner to be able to regulate their tenants on their property. So that being said, that is mostly where security companies and security officers receive their instructions to be able to do their job. Now we get into what is the top 5 things that they can do. The top 5 responsibilities of a security officer is pretty much to be vigilant in deterring crime, to be able to identify any suspicious or unusual behavior, for its contacting and communicating with uh, the personnel there on that property, and being able to have the ability to communicate with local authorities when necessary. They're able to monitor the property and be able to give a report on all the activities during that shift. They take into action uh, and be able to, the word I'm looking for is emergency respond when an incident happened on the property, whether there's a fire or someone need EMS or there's a theft or accident, car accident, or there's a shooting or a home invasion, domestic violence or fight, or someone gets sick on the property, or someone come to them when they see them and ask for assistance. Being in security is a broad business. The things that a security guard can do or have to respond to go far and beyond a lot of things that people originally understand. Because being a security personnel, you're usually the first person on scene, especially if you're a dedicated officer. Now, if you're a patrol officer, you come and you go and you make your report and you leave and you come again after a certain amount of hours. But if there's a dedicated officer there, they're there for the beginning and the remaining of their shift. And the possibility of them seeing something during their shift is very often, and they are there to respond. They get familiar with the people that are there, and sometimes they get relaxed because they see these people every day. Don't get caught up being relaxed, thinking that it's going to be a routine day every day, because every day is different. Treat every day on the job as being different. It's not going to be the same as yesterday as it was today. There's always going to be something that's going to happen, especially when you're talking about the weekends. And most things usually happen when it get dark. But now crime has expanded over the years since the pandemic. There has been a lot of different changes in criminal activities. There's a lot of kidnapping. There's a lot of shooting. There's a lot of deaths. If you've been watching the local news recently, there's too much going on, and we have to be vigilant to be able to do this job to the utmost of our profession. Sometimes we are called to act in a capacity where we never thought that we would be placed into. And that's pretty much where we have to go hands on and we have to get deeply involved into our profession. This is not something that we wake up to every day. Our job as security personnel often leads us to have to detain individuals till law enforcement get there. This could be one of the most dangerous positions that we have to be in on any given day, because no one likes to be put under arrest. No one likes to go to jail. Most likely, these individuals do not respect security personnel anyway because they look at us as a lesser of our sworn counterparts, even though we work closely with them each and every day. The things that we do today as a professional will determine how we're going to be represented tomorrow. It is our job to always look professional, maintain personal hygiene, maintain a great appearance in our uniform, wearing clean uniform, facial hair, neatly shaved, haircut, wearing jewelry that's exposed is not one of the things that you want to have when you're wearing a security guard uniform. Try to maintain professionalism at all times. That way, you will be able to operate your equipment without being hindered. Overwearing a lot of jewelry, flashy watches will only attract a negative activity towards you. Maintain your professionalism in your conversation. That way, you won't be distracted by individuals being in your face 24/7. It's okay to be courtesy, to speak, and move on. Our job is to observe and report at all times. It is best to be a witness to an incident than to be involved in an incident. But if you find yourself where you have to defend yourself, property, people, employee, make sure that you maintain good note taking. When you're interviewing people, always let them know that what you're going to write or say is going to be possible use in your report, maybe used in evidence. Always have your body cam on. Make sure that it's properly recorded. Make sure your body cam is properly charged so that all the evidence that is collected will be well documented. It is not something that you want to lack in doing because you can be caught up in your interview and your body cam just stops. You're not going to have time to recharge, hold on, the incident is still going on. To lose footage and not be able to back up any action that you have taken will be a great tragedy to you and your employer. When you go home, charge your equipment. When you go home, make sure you maintain your equipment to the best of your knowledge. If anything is not of great condition, if you're carrying mace, make sure your mace is well charged. If you happen to use your mace during the course of your duty, make sure that you discontinue the use. Make sure you label that can of mace, put the time, date, the incident in which you use it, and set it aside in the evidence locker. Make sure that all information pertaining to that case is documented in there. If you have to, put it on a scale and weigh the amount that's left inside. It has been my great practice to be able to use mace one time during one given incident and not throughout the night. I know it sounds expensive, but when someone claims that you utilize excessive force, that would be the greatest evidence that you have so that the judge, the jury, the defense, the prosecutor, and your lawyer know how much that you use during the course of that incident. It can make a difference between them stating that you utilize excessiveness and you being able to verify that you use only necessary. Use of force is one of the greatest things that people have tried to utilize against law enforcement, security personnel, because they're always looking to make money off of you. Your training and your certification is always put to the test when you're doing your job. Most people do not know if you are law enforcement or if you are security personnel, because these days law enforcement officers do perform the duty of being security personnel. There are individuals and companies that wear a paramilitary type uniform. We look like officers that are sworn. We wear the same duty belt and equipment as our counterpart in the public service. Even though we work in the private service, our jobs usually intertwine. And on multiple hours, we do work together and we do respond to similar locations. As a private investigator, I often know that most of my cases are involved with the act of law enforcement. We usually maintain the evidence which they have already accomplished in collecting for its dashboard cam, body cam, and we work in the private section. We review the evidence and we submit it to our clients. Their evidence and our questioning, sometimes we have to re-interview witness which they have already talked to. We have to go and regather footage which they have already obtained. We have to document clearly the who, what, where, when, how, and why. This is part of our investigation, and often this information is very crucial. That's why it's very important that each officer maintain constantly training throughout their career. Most security personnel train between 8 to 16 hours dealing with laws of the state, the can and cannot do of their job, how to write a report, how to utilize the notebook that's taking quick notes at the scene and making your report utilizing those notes later. They're trained how to use body cams, how to access the footage afterwards, how to use video recorders to capture interviews while they're conducting their crime scene investigation, how to utilize proper gloves to not decontaminate a scene, how to respond to emergency for its fire alarm, silent alarm, how to utilize different types of fire extinguisher, where it's A, B, C, D, E, or K, how to utilize first aid in helping injured personnel, whether it be an accident or incident or a situation where someone is cut, hurt, stabbed, or shot. The correct way to properly respond to an emergency, whether it is a bomb threat or something that happened unexpected. Utilizing proper training can save a life, and often it may be your own. So it is of great importance to always train. When you go to training, don't sleep. When you go to training, obtain all the information that you can. Train hard, understand what you're reading, understanding what you're seeing, understanding what you're doing, both on the job as well as off the job. Practice do make perfection, and professionalism is often backed up with great practice. Make training your number one priority. Make sure that you have fun doing. Make sure that you understand and try to comprehend each and every day. Utilize what you train on the job as well as off the job. Being aware is a great access in everything that you do. Accept your responsibilities, accept everything that comes after. That means taking responsibility for everything that you do. Integrity, vigilant, being prepared. That will get you forward in this profession. I cannot quote that any further than what it already has been stated. I don't like to be the person who beats on the horse when it's already down, but I do try to instill in each and every person to learn, learn, train, train, train. That is the only way that you're going to see the greatest of your potential. Being a slacker has never helped anyone. If anything, it has gotten a lot of people hurt. Often people see people with their uniform, with their shirts all out. They walk around with jackets on, act like they don't want to be seen in the uniform. They're ashamed of the job they have. Being security is a calling, just like SWAT is a calling, just like being a police officer is a calling, just like being a nurse or a doctor is a calling. Security personnel do the details that local law enforcement are not able to do because law enforcement right now is at a shortage. We fill the gaps. We don't always get the respect that we so deserve. But when things go bad, we're the first person that they call. We're the first person they reach out to because law enforcement cannot stay 8 to 10 hours at a job Monday through Friday. They are needed elsewhere in the city, in the county, in the parish. So we fill the gap. They look for us. Our prices are high, yes, but you get what you pay for. You need someone to be able to do the job. That's where I come in. I train you to do the job. With my teaching, I can get you to the level which you need to be. But only by doing the training, understanding, asking questions, can I help you along the way. I look forward to your questions and I will respond with a great answer. Thank you for listening. Thank you for registering, and I hope to see you there. Enjoy the rest of your day.